What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jay and I'm an American expat that left the United States and took his talent over to the Dominican Republic. And the purpose of my channel is to help you build a life of freedom, purpose, and peace abroad. Listen, I know you're excited to move. You're probably working online. You got that budget all figured out. But one thing is holding you back, and that's the language. And then I get asked, can I move to Dominican Republic if I don't speak Spanish? Or better yet, can I survive in Dominican Republic if I'm not fluent in Spanish? And the short answer to that is absolutely yes. Especially if you live in places like Santo Domingo, Santiago, Punta Cana, Puerto Plata. You'll find people in tourism, hospitality, and even in real estate that speak a little English. And not to mention the expat community in these cities are growing rapidly. You can get your SIM card, you can rent an apartment, you can order food, you can grab an Uber, all with the combo of just basic Spanish, Google Translate, and these weird hand gestures. So if you're just visiting or you're just starting out, you'll be able to manage. But let's talk about the difference between surviving and thriving, because it becomes a little bit deeper than just ordering food at a restaurant. Because thriving is all about building a rhythm here, feeling safe, empowered, and part of your new environment. And see, that's when the gap shows up, because not speaking the language will eventually create this wall between you and your neighbors, your community, and your everyday independence. And I have to be honest, I've hit that wall often being here because I haven't dedicated myself like I should in order to learn the language. And it's not because I'm not trying, because I am, but I'm just going at a slower pace because of all the other things that are going on in my life at the moment, that I just can't sit down and spend 3 hours a day trying to learn Spanish. So it's taking me longer than what I actually expected, but every day I'm getting better and better. So here where the language barriers start to hit different in some of your day-to-day activities. Like going to utility companies or government offices, they rarely have English speakers. Whether you're applying for residency, disputing a utility bill, it's all in Spanish. Even when it comes to buying and registering your car, you're dealing with the mechanics, the car lot, and paperwork, it's all in Spanish. What about looking for long-term housing outside of Airbnb? And most of the listings are in Spanish, and most of the owners speak Spanish only. But here's an area where you may find people who actually speak English. What about when you need a doctor or a dentist? Many speak English, but there are some clinics that don't. And the same goes for pharmacies. And I can attest to the pharmacy because I go to the pharmacy a lot. And when I go in there, nobody speaks English. I have to muscle my way through the conversation. But I like it because it challenges me to listen and learn the language. I don't expect them to speak English when I walk in there. Sometimes I ask, if it gets too complicated, I may ask them, hey, does anybody speak a little English? But most of the time, I muscle my way through it. And what about your daily interactions? You're at the colmado. What about at the salon or the barbershop? Even at the bank? What about talking to your neighbors? All of this is gonna be in Spanish. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. When I get ready to leave the house and I can hear my neighbors outside, sometimes I'll just wait until they get on the elevator because I know they're gonna talk to me. And it's not because I don't want them to talk to me, but sometimes I just feel uncomfortable because I know my Spanish is broken. So I'm embarrassed sometimes to have a conversation. So if I hear them, them locking their door and I'm about to lock, I just wait and I hear the elevator. And once I realize they got on the elevator, that's when I go out. But man, sometimes I'll be standing at the elevator and they'll just catch me out there. Hola, vecino. And man, they just start talking. And that's when I have to employ my broken Spanish. But I do enjoy having a conversation. But sometimes I'm just not scared to speak, but embarrassed because I know I'm not using the right sentence structure, if that makes any sense. And sometimes that can make you feel like you kind of like a guest in your own life. You're here, but you feel disconnected. So for that, you want to learn at least some of the basic Spanish. You don't have to be fluent, but knowing the basics like how to introduce yourself, ask for directions, order food confidently, explain an emergency, or ask about your rent or your utility bill. These are some of the basic things that I think that one should be able to explain to a minimum if they're here. Now, for me, I know how to introduce myself. I know how to order food. I know how to ask for directions. Now, explaining an emergency, depending on what the emergency is, I can probably muscle my way through it. And asking about my utility bill, of course, I can ask about my utility bill. Depending on what it is regarding my utility bill, I can muscle my way through that also. And although I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to myself, because we don't want to miss out on the conversations. We don't want to feel like we're left out of group settings. We don't just want to smile and wave at our neighbors like many of us do, include myself, because real relationships are hard to build without the communication. You get invited out, but you can't follow the jokes. You need help, but then you can't explain your situation clearly. And what happens is you end up stuck in this tourist zones or either hanging out with fellow expats that speak English. And if you're here long term, that isolation can kind of feel heavy. It almost feels like you're not living here. You're kind of just floating through. And that's why it's important to learn just a little Spanish, because when you do, more doors open. People become warmer. You're no longer just in the country, you're becoming a part of it. So I think my situation now is where I know a little Spanish. Matter of fact, some people say I know more than what I think I know. So I do feel a part of the country. I don't feel like I'm just living here, because some conversations I can catch, but y'all know Dominicans talk at 200 miles per hour. So when they go on their rambling mode, my ears just fold up because I can't follow it. But for the most part, the little that I know, I feel comfortable. But here's the good news. You don't have to be fluent to thrive in DR. You just need to be functional. If you can introduce yourself, ask for what you need, understand basic responses, then you're already a standout. But here's a few ways you can thrive in DR even if your Spanish isn't great. Learn 5 to 10 phrases every week just to start. It's okay to use Google Translate, but also listen to it and repeat it. Also, there are apps out there like Duolingo and Babbel that can help you improve your Spanish. One of the best ways is make Dominican friends, talk to them, make mistakes, laugh through it. And another way you can do it, practice at Comados, practice at supermarkets. I practice at supermarkets all the time. Real life is your classroom. And another way is don't isolate yourself. Stay engaged, even when it's awkward. And that's advice to myself, because I would isolate myself if I feel like I'm gonna feel awkward. I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna engage, man. When I think it may feel awkward, I'm gonna engage. That's my promise. Also, watch Dominican YouTubers or telenovelas with the subtitles on. Train your ear to pick up on the accents. And I know a lot of people, or some people, think that my wife does everything for me. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, don't get me wrong, when things, or I feel things may get a little complicated, yes, I bring her in. But a lot of times when I go out, I'm without her. I'm at the supermarket without her. I'm at the restaurants. I'm at the cigar bar. I'm at Comados. I'm not always with my wife. Now, we do go out a lot together, but sometimes I just want to immerse myself into the environment and not have anybody there and kind of muscle my way through it. And that's what I tend to do. So yes, she has been helpful. I'm not going to deny that. But at the same time, it's not like she does everything for me. So to wrap this up, yes, you can survive in Dominican Republic without speaking Spanish. But if you want to truly thrive, build relationships, live freely, gain confidence, and grow personally, then learning Spanish will elevate everything. You don't need to wait until you're perfect. All you got to do is just start. And listen, I'm not trying to scare anybody and say, hey, if you don't know Spanish, don't come over here. It's going to be hard for you. Trust me, I'm not saying that. There's people been over here 20, 30 years that still don't know a lick of Spanish. So you can get by, especially in tourist areas, but I personally wouldn't recommend that you come over here and don't even try. At least put in the effort to learn the basics. That's my advice. So leave in the comment section below how you navigated in a new country without knowing the language. I like to hear your experience. And guys, remember, I created this new weekly newsletter called Live Your Best Life Newsletter. I'm gonna leave a link in the video description below. If you're into money, personal development, and life abroad, this is a newsletter for you. So guys, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're going to live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.
Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing, no.